champagne, mama, me dead. Mon baby. You should know, I know go use you catch you cruise. So many girls, but you I choose. Sweet it and I say I'm into blues. Share, I want for them make them more confused. I will love you till the end. My sweetie pie, I hope you understand. I will love you till the end. I'm a baby. So me move for man, I'm a woman, me dead. So me move for man, I'm a woman.
Right. Good evening. Welcome to the show. This evening is all going to be the celebration. Right, so yes, good evening and welcome to the show. 6 minutes past 8 o'clock tonight. Let's all gather around, and have some merry and have some celebrations. I know some of you are really celebrating, some of you are very happy, and you are enjoying. Some are even dancing, you see what I mean. Anyway, you have every right to dance because tonight the NDC group in Accra, in Ghana, they had their primaries, and all in all, we can say that it went smoothly, except some few skirmishes here and there. Everything went swimmingly well, so to speak. So tonight, and I say, Bana, Chesi, Ubia, Yenim Obedin Komo, and now Yashe, dear Ekoso. It is a UTM radio, Musa. I am ready to rumble and rumble and rumble.
Tall at the highest mountain, then the river inside flow like a fountain. Who Jah bless, let no man curse, let no man curse. Who Jah bless. If you want try me, try me. If you want try me, Jah strike me. Over me, over. Let thy wings over. Oh, I'm anointed from the head to the toe, man anointed. Over me, over. Let thy wings over me. Oh, I'm anointed. Let them know see, man I bless. Let them know see, man I bless. Let them know see, man I bless. Let them know see, man I beyond the curse. Everybody. Africans and Yale. Feel good, we no need no bad energy. Spread love to my friends and family. Only good times bring back memories. I'm not stop flash for my enemies. Them feel so blessed like when just shining sun at the best time. Make the money live the best life. And I'm paid on my head time. That's the rough life for me empire. No all of my dogs and my girl them over me over. Let thy wings over. Oh, I'm anointed from the head to the toe, man anointed.
So it means, I've been told that some people have some surprises, but all in all, like I said, people are, those who are supposed to win, they did win. Except some who were thought not to be very popular in NDC circles, who were supposed to lose, but they still win. Notably, I'm talking about one Muntaka. Muntaka won convincingly, a comfortable lead. That's very strange, isn't it? Anyway, so those people like Ruku Anyudoho and the rest of them, as they say in the local parlance, them eyes all die. You see, people, I don't know, the politics in Africa is too, how do I say it? It is too destabilized. I mean, no honesty at all. It is all about the end game. That is the winning, and that is what matters, And the winning is not winning for the people, or let's say for the whole country, the whole society or citizens. Rather, it is a win for someone who think it's their turn to run the affairs of the country. So they just make sure they will win. And when they win, we all know what happens. Not much returns, get back to the society. So it's a shame. It's a shame because I really would not understand why anybody in Ghana, if you are really into politics and you are fed up with what is going on, I don't see why, the reason why anybody will go and support, against the NDC to, I don't know. I really don't understand. But like I say, any Jenkwan, he said, "Ubi a uti no per se, frame na uni yedin komona, church and assembly koe, how things have, has pan out or had pan out, how everything, if it is what you expected, if it is what you thought should happen, or on the other hand, if you are a bit, what do you call it, you are a bit flabbergasted, or let's say surprised, or anything, So tell me, call me on my studio numbers and let's discuss the NDC prime race. Ghana would to me friend number 447876251 That is, it's a WhatsApp number. If open free Ghana is 44. Always add the country code. That is 447876251 On the other line, if you want to call the landline, it is 0208 123 5911. Ofra, Bekasa. You see what I mean? It's all about celebration, so it's all about the music. Right, so like I'm saying, okay, yeah, no problem. Yo, and the American say, and then no, and this is why you more primary say we aka MPP for, and you my friend MPP NDC for no me busam what's going on, my friend MPP for so. Meanwhile, we'll be an person who ban a bedding command so, or kasa so to me fra. Still numbers, more Ghana and Munim say WhatsApp number. So you can, if only you have data, all what you got to do is to call. That is 447876 251 261. And if you want to call the direct studio number calling from UK, you can call 208. That is a Skype number 0208 123 5911. You see what I mean?
I don't even think you know. Say my life, you didn't revolve around you. You like the sun, you like me, oh girl. I said, no, I'm driving, come with that. Don't be see you down my fear, no, why? I don't call you to and Dembra, and you saw me, but now me, why?
So now that the NDC have done their primaries, what is all left is that Bahama is free. Bahama had what? 98.9. It's too much. I mean, it's just like Bahama is becoming a dictator in NDC. He's becoming one man show. I don't know. NDC for why? Why everybody want to vote for Bahama? Anyway, is this a sign that the country will also follow suit and vote for him? We shall see when the time comes. But the question is, NDC for your mudi. It is a MPP. Now, Mahama, say, what be a flag bearer, no? Just say, to me, fire, all right, fire all round and all right. You see what I mean? It's as simple as that. So, obviously, if and when you want to come and discuss it, I'm here. From what what I heard, there wasn't much problems or in Tokwatin TBN. I mean, one or two skirmishes. Yes, you'll be two, you'll be so Omohana dream and maybe you're fainty near the idea, you'll be asthmatic near the idea. And you see, some young people have won the what do you call it? The right to represent NDC, very young politicians. Some others tried. I don't know. I'm yet to know who the lady I interviewed the other night. What is her name? I forgot her name. That lady, for instance, I wish she got a chance, but I haven't heard anything. She was competing against Phyllis Ofosu-Kwakye. And I haven't seen anything anywhere showing that Ofosu-Kwakye has won or anything. So I don't know what's happening there. And that is my personal interest because I hail from that area. They call it AAK, that is Abra Asebu Kwamankese constituency. You see, it is a place that before education became, very, became common or widespread. Before many Ghanaians took to education, education itself was happening in the Fanti Confederation all along. You see what I mean? And the Fantis were enjoying life and stay, I don't know if I can say enjoying that life, but education. Most educated people came from that area, and not that they have used that knowledge to develop or anything. That is it will be a topic for discussion another day. So let's leave. But I'm very much interested in the outcome of the election at AAK. Now, here in the UK, a gentleman I know very well, he calls me Old Soldier. He is okay. I was going to say he is the ranking member, but no, he is the official secretary or the communication officer for the NDC here in the UK. He went quietly, to take his chances. So I can happily announce that Mr. Simon Aworigo, Simon Aworigo. Simon Aworigo. Yeah, Aworigo is the way is the proper pronunciation. He has won his primary, so he will represent NDC in that part of Ghana, that is Navrongo. So it's all good news, good news, good news. Let's go to the Skype and talk to someone who has just taken the pleasure, the evening pleasure to call Mansa Musa to do discussion, and I am really happy for that. So let's open the studio line and see. Hello, good evening. Is that Mr. Conrad Damba?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are you? Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
I couldn't be doing any better.
Brilliant. Well, it's not every day you guys, especially NDC or politicians, would say, "Oh yeah, we have a happy times," or something to celebrate or anything like that. But today can be one of those days, or this week or this weekend. Ghana, I know the NDC people, everybody associated with NDC is enjoying himself or herself. And I think it's so happening here in the UK diaspora as well. Anyway, first and foremost, congratulations for an efficient, relatively efficient running of your primaries.
Thank you very much. I think as a member of the NDC and all members of the NDC, we should hold our heads very high and proudly. That somebody, Comrade Kosi Pratt, doesn't easily give away praises or accolades for anything you do. And so for someone like Kosi Pratt to applaud the NDC on an extremely, very well organized, efficient, very peaceful, and excellent Congress, or if you like, a parliamentary and presidential primaries race, I think that we should wear that as a badge of honor. It's in a very few short hours we're able to take it off, and the good thing is that it's happening across the length and breadth of the country. From the heights of Hamilton all the way down to the coast of Cape Coast. It happened across the length and breadth of the country, and there was no tower, nothing that anybody would complain about. A few showers of money here and there, but the good thing is that all those who went money showering, by and large, most of them lost, which is what even gives me that joy, because the delegates, great members of the NDC from the branch level all the way upwards, have demonstrated that they were not looking for somebody who could pay them. I can't rule out the impact of money, but those who went to that extreme, you will see that one of our ladies in one of the Ejira Sekidumasi went ahead and was spraying money, and Joy FM even spoke to her. But what was the end result? She came second from the bottom. In other words, she was fourth in a 5-man race or 5-candidate race. In fact, she got less than 30% of what the one who won got, barely 200 votes, as compared to the winner getting almost 700 votes. So for me, I think that by and large, it was very peaceful. It was very reasonable, and we should be proud of ourselves. And if there's anything we should learn from it, it was the resilience, the determination of the national executive to make sure the election was held on the 30th. They put their foot down and they say, come hell or high water, we're holding this on the 30th. Dufour played his part, engaged in his shenanigans, but whatever the case, EC stepped in for the first time and decided to misconstrue, deliberately or inadvertently, misconstrue a simple injunction as a court verdict. In the end, they ate humble pie. They came back. And I liked the very firm stance the party put forward on Friday that said, if you need us to fly the materials, we have got helicopters on standby, we will fly the materials. If you have a problem getting the materials anywhere, we will do it. That firm determination is what made that election come off. If you are not that firm, trust me, these elections won't come off. Those of us who have had experience with elections, if not here in Ghana, we know that if you're organizing something like that, politicians will try and tussle. They'll try and just jostle for advantage. But if you put the interest of the wider body at the forefront, you can get. So I'm proud of what we got. I mean, and I'm proud of, President Mahama. Way head and shoulders above anybody. This time around, the last time he gave 5% to the other people to share. This time around, he gave them 1% to share. He got 99%.
Yes.
I mean, I know with pedantic people say, 98.9. My brother, we all did basic maths. 98.9. When you round it, what do you get? 99.
Obviously, there cannot be a half human being. So,
good.
It's the figures we are talking about, but it is 99. Honestly speaking, let's leave Mahama and his one-man show, his dictatorship sort of character aside. And stay with, I'm saying this in a very lively manner. No one should take me to task.
Yeah, you should be telling us that water is a dictator, because even though we drink, we can drink Guinness, but still we have to drink water.
You see,
Mahama is now the life-giving water.
You see,
we have no choice. We have to drink it when we are thirsty. No matter how drunk you are, when you are thirsty, you will have to drink water.
Let's discuss some other people before we come back to the big one, Mahama, again. And that is your colleague here in the UK, or your colleagues. Tell us who came out with flying colors.
Oh, yeah, I think to begin with, we had 6 gallant members of the UK who participated. And I think all of them, in one sense or the other, came out with some form of flying colors. I said this earlier. It is Socrates that is acclaimed or supposedly alleged to have said that marry, if you get a good wife, you'll be a happy man. If you don't, you'll be a philosopher. So our comrades who gathered the strength and the determination to go to Ghana and campaign for months on end. This thing was not an overnight thing. It started several months today, some even going back 4 years, where you have to cultivate the delegates, you cultivate the branch executives, you work with them, especially after our Congress last year.
Yes.
Work with the branch executives, the constituency executives, get into their good books, convince them that you mean well for the party. You are not just there to pay them, get the nod, win it, and do what you want to do. And so all of these people, I think we need to salute them. I don't think I would have been able to do what most of them have done. To even be able to marshal yourself and get down there and convince even one person to vote for you, it's no mean feat. It's a very, very hard business, But fortunately, for the first time, we had 6 people in this. I can hear myself an echo.
Fault. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Yes. I was just saying that, look, for the first time, I think we have an unprecedented number of 6 ladies and gentlemen who went to Ghana to contest. Our brothers, Ibrahim Buidu from Milton Keynes contested for Busumpui. He's from Milton Keynes branch, one of my good friends. Will tell you something interesting about the Milton Keynes candidates. Apparently, they are supposed to be ghosts. So we have a miracle of the ghosts. One of the ghosts supposedly won a primaries. We'll come to that. Then you have from East London, who have my brother Divine Agbeti, a very hardworking gentleman. I know this is not, he has previously mooted it, but this time around he made strong inputs. He came third. Ibrahim missed his slot by just 32 votes. He got over 530 votes. The winner took just about 565 or so. Then you have our own brother Chairman Ken from the Telford branch, who went for the Mfansiman constituency, and then he did a very good job. He worked very hard, but unfortunately it didn't work out well for him. We have our own sister Vera Hayibo from the Scotland branch, another very hard-working woman, one of the pillars of the Scotland branch, those who worked hard to make sure Scotland sees the light of day. And I know that because I was part of the people who worked hard to get Scotland off the ground. So I know the pain they went through, So those are the first 4. And then you have, of course, our own brother, Simon, the gentleman who dispatched us to your studios and other media houses to represent this chapter. One who has left his mark on this chapter from the days he was deputy youth organizer all the way through to now. And what Simon has done, it is I'm not going to say unprecedented, but it's a very difficult job he has put up. And he won convincingly. He won convincingly. It's not like he won by 1 vote or 2 votes or 10 votes. He won by tens of votes, which is not easy because he ousted an incumbent who is the current MP for Nabrongo Central, Honorable Samson, famously called STC. And if you look at the constituency Simon was going into, I'm sure there are many, some of our philosophers, when I say philosophers, I'm relying to some of our people who previously went to contest. I'm sure most of them would have told him, don't even go, especially a place like Nabrongo. But it has to take somebody with a lot of gut, a lot of ambition, a lot of patience, a lot of energy and determination to crack through. Look, I'll give you a quick summary of Nabrongo Central. No one has ever held Nabrongo Central consecutively as an MP. In 1992, you had Godfred Abunu. I went to the minor seminary, Catholic minor seminary based in Nabrongo, so I know all this like the back of my hand. From age 10, I was in there in the boarding house. So all these things, we know them. I know that place very well. All the way till I had to go to uni, I was in there. Godfred Abunu came in, and then he died. And then a by-election was held in 1997, and it was John Achuluwo who took over. 1 year later, John Achuluwo was taken out, and Clement Bugase came in. Bugase, in 4 years, in 2000, Achuluwo came back and took over from Bugase. Then Achuluwo didn't quite make it. And, in 4 years, it was Kofi Ada who came and took over from Achuluwo, because Achuluwo also passed on. Then 4 years later, it was, what's his name? Mark Oyongo came and took over from, Kofi Ada.
Yes.
By the way, Kofi Ada and Mark Oyongo, both of them are old boys of mine. They're both old students of Notre Dame, the great minor seminary there that I spoke of in Nabrongo. So they were swapping the thing like that. So Mark Oyongo came back and took it from Kofi Ada. Kofi Ada came back and took it from Mark Oyongo. And then what happened? 4 years ago in 2020, Samson came back and took it from Kofi Ada for the NDC. Well, when I say took it, it's because Kofi Ada lost the primaries to the then certain MPP regional minister, Tangomba.
Yes.
Unfortunately, she won it, but she was soundly defeated by over 10,000 votes. And Nabrongo is a place where people don't easily win it by more than 4,000 or 5,000 votes. So what Samson did was historic, to soundly beat Tangomba by over 10,000 votes when she had incumbency advantage. And in fact, people like Gabi and Bomti and Co. descended to that constituency because she has a strong relationship with them. And they poured money there like nobody's business. Money was flowing like money, like water. And yet Samson trounced her convincingly, right? And here comes our very gallant, strong hero, Simon, goes in. This conqueror of MPP, Samson, that scattered MPP in the constituency, Simon has been able to oust him, not with half the resources that the current MP has. So what Simon has achieved, it sends shockwaves across the constituency. I have feelers in there. Most of my classmates and schoolmates, of course, being the town where most of them are there and they're part of the party, and we all know how it was a massive shock to them.
Sure.
But we always believed that if there was anybody who could do it, it's Simon. And the people on the ground are very much overjoyed. So what Simon has done is not just a great testimony to this chapter, but it's a great testimony to resilience, hard work, and determination. So I soundly salute Simon for that. And I don't just say that because I know Simon. I say that because Simon is somebody that you know him. You don't need to work with Simon to know that he's a man that would go places. And I pray that someday we'll all be saluting him as His Excellency, aiming for the high seat after Nabrongo Central. I'm convinced that we are going to keep Nabrongo Central come 7th December 2024. The final person that came from the UK chapter is one of our own sisters from, of course, Milton Keynes. These are, I'm privileged because I registered 2 people whilst I was chairman of Milton Keynes branch, and 2 of them contested, and one of them has He's become the first woman from Milton Keynes to win this primaries in a very, again, not easy. Maybe Skukwabisi, she faced a lot of challenges from day one. From what I mean, she's always been a strong member of the party. In fact, she and her brother, when they worked, we did a lot of work to convince them to join us here. Because, some of our members, when they come from Ghana, they look at what we are doing here. It's like we are playing Chaskeli. This serious business. These are hardcore people from Ghana. I mean, the elder brother, she's a sister to Charles Bisi. Charles Bisi was once, and then, the MPP is very good at stealing some of our good people. Not the Galamsey part of him anyway. I mean the other part of him. But these are solid people, particularly the elder brother Bennett. Bennett was he's been a long time executive in the Western region. We tapped into these people and we tried to encourage them to join our branch. Somehow we registered him here somewhere around April of last year. And I had the privilege of being among the executives that approved their membership. She went through a lot. Her story, she faced opposition not just from in the constituency, but from even here in the UK.
Yes.
You have chapter executives writing negative propaganda against her, sponsoring and contributing to as many as 17 different petitions against this poor person that they had not even had the privilege of seeing. Because a lot of chapter executives never came to our branch meetings.
Sure.
At some point, some of them were even calling her a ghost. As we speak, there's even a petition. One of my fellow candidates has actually written a petition to the powers that be, claiming that this lady does not exist in our books and is evidence that our books are fraudulent. That Milton Keynes register is fraudulent. As we speak now, it is good. God is not a Yoruba man. He works in his own good ways. God has now ensured that one of the persons, the main person that has formed the crust of that person's so-called petition, claiming that she is evidence that there are ghosts in Milton Keynes, she is fake, therefore the research should take that. She has won a primary. Let us now see how a miracle of a ghost has won primaries. But you had these people, even when my branch, my hard-working executives, led by Honorable Angela Domsiruma and General Tumisi, wrote to chapter asking them to come. We gave you the date this lady was registered in this branch. They decided to write something different. And the next day, the letter that was written to them to write to confirm the list stuff, they rather sent that to the lady's opponents in her constituency to do negative politics against her. It was sad that we in the UK do this to one of our own. But the thing I respect about her, she did not give up. She kept working with opposition here and opposition in her seat. And let us be clear, the person she faced, Dr. Okumi, was no mean person.
No.
Very solid. Look, he was our parliamentary candidate in 2020. And he took the NDC from barely 23-30% in 2016 election to about 44-45%. So we came within 5-6% of clinching the seat from the NPP. And of course, that means he had incumbency in quotes advantage in the sense that the people know him. He went the last time. And of course, most of the executives in the region, I'm not going to play politics here, but a significant number, joined the train. And of course, people don't like change. So I wouldn't just say that people don't like her. That's what, no. Some people are always have issue, resistance to change. We call it in leadership and management studies, resistance to change. But this lady stuck to the ground. She worked very hard. And thanks be to God and the diligence and the hard work and steely determination, she won convincingly 54% of the vote. She won convincingly. This is not one vote or two votes. Solid convince. These are the kind of people we need to encourage in the UK and Ireland.
To be honest, you see, I've left you to carry on, say, but someone will say, "Oh, you are exaggerating." Look, I know very well Ghana politics. You see, it is not easy, even being in Ghana and trying to outwit an opponent in Ghana. That's when you are living there. It's difficult. Let alone you come from Europe and that. How do I say it? That stigma is there, yeah. And those kind of things. And yet, these people you are mentioning have been able to attain such feats. I mean, it's really remarkable, really. Let's, I will leave you to carry on with the rest.
Musa, just to carry on what you said, you hit a point that I didn't initially want to touch, but let me get onto it. Oh, they have come from abroad. That is the song that was sung against most of our candidates from here that went to contest. Particularly these two people that have sailed through. I know it personally. They were told, oh, these people are British. You know, someone got that charge in Agongo Central. But people had to work to convince them that, look, you know him. This is not the first time he's coming here. He's always been. And someone was a strong part of the team that worked hard to get STC elected 4 years ago. So he was part of the success story. As for Mavis Kukwa BC, a.k.a. Ahanta Bruni, you know, the same charge was labeled on her. That, oh, she's British. She's not even Ghanaian. She doesn't have a Ghanaian passport. So she's not even allowed to contest. She had to disprove that and show she was. Next thing, oh, then that means she lives in the UK. That's where her home is. She's not a member of this party here. And that is where people went hunting for her membership, how long she has been in the UK. What they forgot was that lady had been a solid member of her branch, her constituency, for several years. And so the story, I would say, for most of us in the diaspora here, pay attention to your branch wherever you are. Even if you have to just go and register so that you will be known, do it. Because eventually we'll all go to be police station agents there. Yes, it is good what we do here. But fortunately, IRD gave us the opportunity since last year to be able to be dual registered. Take advantage of it. Because the last thing you want is for another diligent, hardworking NDC member from here to go home to contest only to be told that, oh, you are not here. And you had a ridiculous situation where contestants who were in Ghana were rather calling and getting some of our members in the UK here to bear false witness against some of our own candidates from UK here going. People even flying from here to go there and say, I'm going to go and be part of the vetting and I'm going to give testimony against her so that she will be disqualified. It happens, especially in the case of Ahanta Bruni. Maybe BC. It is sad that we did that to ourselves. Look, I am not saying that you should validate anybody's thing. I won't do it. We should not do it. If the person is not 4 years, it shouldn't happen. Of course, we know that in the end, it appears there are allegations that some people who are not even known to this party ended up getting letters. How they got it, I don't know. Whether that is true or not, I think that we will look into it. I really will look into it at some point. But it's a sad that people that we knew ended up being the ones that were bearing the brunt of all this. But I cannot blame us here. Sometimes our brothers in Ghana, I mean, you heard President Mahama saying he will do away with this whole thing about black citizenship and the thing of not being able to contest if you are the passport here.
Yes.
What did our brother Black Rasta say? And I think what Black Rasta said smacks of ignorance on the way we do the things we do. No,
let me fill you in this.
We're not foreigners.
Let me fill you this. I can say it even though it was a personal listen. I did contacted him and wrote some few lines, and later I think he acknowledged. He sent me that look message well noted. I had to reschool him on issues of this nature. I just told him that look, even if Mahama has said that and you don't agree, note that this is a constitutional issue. So it will go to Parliament, they will debate it, and because it's constitutional, maybe even a referendum will come in. So this is not something you should lose your head. That's for my words to him. You don't have to lose your words and, straight away, all of a sudden, behave as though the alternatives, they are better. You see what I mean? So he came back with acknowledgement notes that, okay, well noted. So really, some of them, they let their emotions, override everything, speak for them. Then later, maybe realize, no, I should have taken my time. But there you go. No, not everyone is as matured as yourself,
Mansa, Musa, look, let's face it. In an economy where you have inflation now running at 42%. The city is dancing paluga at almost 15 to the city, to the pound. Cost of living is crippling and killing people. Businesses are shutting down.
Yes.
We can't even get an IMF deal. People are suffering. Price of balls of cake are going up. How does stopping a Ghanaian, legitimate Ghanaian, born and bred in Ghana, who schooled all their life in Ghana, who had opportunities to come out and study, and suddenly you call them foreigners? How does stopping them from coming back home to invest? Because going into politics is an investment in your personal self, not to get money back. It's not every investment that you get monetary returns.
No.
You must love your community to want to go back and serve.
Yes.
These gentlemen that went, how much was their filing fee in the first place? The cost of the plane tickets. They have to take care of various delegates in one way or the other. All that is going into the economy. So let us not forget the impact of political investment, if I may use that word, on the economy. They spend, anytime there's this season, the amount that is spent, the DJs that are hired, the vehicles that are used, the fuel that is used to travel around, the people that are paid, all that changes up the economy. So this is external people coming in to invest. As for the people within the system, their money is in the banks in the system. So if you allow only those people to compete, it is money that is circulating. But this is a fresh injection of cash. I'm not even talking about the fact that the diaspora remittances alone, my brother, remittances into Ghana is over 3.5 billion into Ghana every year.
Sure.
That is the same 3 billion we're going to beg IMF for. So if we had mobilized ourselves where other countries actually go with diaspora bonds, some Asian countries, they go with diaspora bonds where their people in the diaspora are able to purchase specific bonds that are targeted at infrastructure and other transformative projects. We should be tapping into the abilities of our diaspora, not drawing the bridge on them and say, you stay there, don't come here. Mansa, do I look like Uyibo man talking to you? I am talking Ghana. I'm not even talking Lafa, locally acquired foreign accent, or talking slangs. This is how I was born and I was bred. This is how I was taught to speak, and I'm speaking La. And so when I go home, somebody will say, this man is not Ghana, now British man. Where was I born? Am I Essex born? Unfortunately, I wasn't. Even if I was Essex born and my parents are of Ghanaian heritage, the constitution allows me to be Ghanaian. My children here are Ghanaian. I get them Ghanaian passports. Who is going to come and tell me that my children cannot come in and contest? I think this better than a neighbor type of politics. Look, I know it was a slip of tongue by a Black Rasta. Black Rasta usually doesn't go there. But sometimes the economic difficulties can also have a bit of an impact on the way we do things. So I want to forgive him on that angle. But I think President Mohammed's call is in the right direction.
Sure.
How does stopping people from the diaspora from coming home to influence politics either through active participation, taking roles in them, how does that enrich Ghana? If anything, Kwame Nkrumah came from the diaspora to give us independence. How many of our leaders have not been to the diaspora in one shape or the form? You go, the Chinese use their diaspora very well. Almost every Southeast Asian country that developed, you send your diaspora people actively, consciously send them out there. They go to learn, they study, they learn good practice, they bring it back home, they implement, and we make progress. Was Professor Mills not here? School of Oriental and African Studies. This is where he got his PhD. The things he learned, he took them back home. So we have to get to that point of, look, why are we more comfortable to have IMF send a representative to come and sit at the central bank to supervise the governor of the central bank? Why are we more comfortable for World Bank and IMF to send another representative to the Minister of Finance to sit there and be supervising our Minister of Finance? These are not Ghanaians. And yet, when your own Ghanaians who have come here and have toiled, the talents that they have, the experiences that they have, they want to bring it home to contribute to the development agenda. You say, no, David, you are British because you went there. How credible can it be that because I traveled to Britain, I'm British? How does that make sense? So I think that on that one, Black Rasta goofed, and unfortunately, most of our candidates who went to contest, they lost votes because of this mantra of, oh, he's a British man. He's from UK. He doesn't hold Ghana passport. And of course, it's difficult for you to shake that off. We need to move away from some of those very discriminatory comments, I would say. And I hope that when President Mahama works hard and we remove that particular requirement, it will allow people to contribute to Ghana, whichever shape or form. I have no problem with that. Once you're a Ghanaian, you're a Ghanaian.
Sure.
That's what's important. Sure. Whether you're Ghanaian or not, you have chosen to go home and contribute to the agenda. Let it be so. Ghana will be richer. Ghana will be better. If anything, it's not for... Don't we even get Congolese players come and play for House of Oak or Kotoko?
Yes.
Our coaches, don't we... Coach Milo and Co. You go and you get Mamelodi Sundown players from South Africa, go there. You go to Congo, get them there. And then when it's your own Ghana people, you say, what? Our children can play for Black Stars, but we can't come and contest. It doesn't make sense. And most of us are even first-generation migrants who are going home. We all want to go home and be buried in the mausoleums of our families or the graveyards of our family graves. We don't want to be cremated here. So why are you stopping us from going back home? Don't we go home on holidays? Don't we spend money? So I think that was a complete good. But back to the point, I think, look, as members of the UK and Ireland chapter, this should be a clarion call for us. We have sterling members with sterling qualities here who have been able to go to Ghana and showcase that. It is time for us to unwrap the talents that each of us have here. These are like Easter egg hunts. Let us hunt down the talents that there are. And by God, there are many talented people here. There are still many more Simons. There are still many more Kukwes in this chapter. And it is good to have 1 man, 1 woman come through. Hopefully next time it will be 2 men, 2 women, 3 men, 3 women. We need to focus on developing and uncovering the talents and abilities of our members and stop this child scale play that we are there tussling for non-existence power. What is the use of power if it is not to give voice to, amplify, enable and enhance the abilities of the members of the group that you need? Power is nothing if not exercised in the interest of the community. So we should forget those things and focus. These elections in Ghana have taught us many things. Resilience is seeing it through. It has also taught us that, if anything, some of the people we are pointing fingers at, helping other people in Ghana to point out as these are not members or these are British or whatever, they have put the UK to shame. And it's time for us to heed that clarion call. That bell should start ringing in our heads to rise up again. Let that famous cockerel crow again and let us heed it and do right by our party in the UK.
Let's discuss a little bit about the other areas. For instance, it should have been widely believed, that's how it is, that someone like Muntaka would have failed. He won comfortably. What do you think was going on?
Let me be honest with you. Personally, at some point, I like Muntaka. I am not a member of the Asawasi constituency. So what I like is irrelevant to them. Yeah? Just because the monkey is dancing up the tree does not mean the tortoise should suddenly go belly up. So that is my point. But why was anybody expecting Muntaka to lose? He's a human being like all of us. He has his advantages and disadvantages.
Sure.
He's no saint. And he's definitely not a perpetual sinner. He may not have got all the things right, but if the people of his constituency wanted it, so be it. And so when we build up all the tension, I mean, I don't know Muntaka personally. I don't know Masaudu personally. But I think that bitter rivalry and all that stuff was not unnecessary. It was just a lot of hot air. At the end of the day, this was a simple contest. If anything, Muntaka has proven very excellent and useful to the NDC in Parliament. Don't forget, he's the one who caught Carlos Ahenkra trying to kill ballot papers like he would and got him to speed them up, speed them all out. Don't forget that he was very crucial in making sure that we have this hung Parliament, making sure we have Honorable Alban Sumani back then on the chair as Speaker. So if anything, he has paid his dues. I personally am not in the constituency, so I don't know why many people were clamoring for him to go. But it is not my business to have expected him to fail or not to fail. But the people have spoken. Vox populi, vox deo. And he won convincingly. It was not like a very tight race.
No.
He won convincingly. And that tells me that, look, he may not be a saint. Of course, I know we can all be occasionally hot-headed. I am also guilty of that. Of course, I can sometimes, in the heat of the moment, we make comments. But now it's time for us to say, look, okay, this is him, warts and all. How can we use him for the betterment of our social democratic, if you like, advancement? He is an asset that the party must use. Some may have a challenge with him. I mean, why were people expecting him to lose? Why were people not happy with? I mean, I'm happy that Honorable Haruna Idrisi went completely unopposed. And you notice something in Honorable Haruna Idrisi's constituency. President Mahama got 100%. Every single vote cast there, not one single rejected vote, not one single vote for Dr. Dufour or Honorable Kujobus. Everything went straight to President Mahama. So sometimes, you see, we will not always get on in all situations. There are some arguments we will agree to disagree on, but we should all learn to focus on the wider picture. The bigger picture is that we want NDC to succeed so that it can propel Ghana to the developmental heights that we want it to achieve. We want clean water for every single person. We want no schools under trees. I'm not going to say trees under schools. We want no schools under trees. We want every child to be able to afford have 3 square meals. Look, hunger is the greatest impediment to your cognitive abilities. A hungry stomach will not permit you to study peacefully without groaning all the time. You know that. And if you cannot sleep, if you are hungry, you try sleeping and see whether it will work. Pure hunger will wake you up more than any alarm bell could wake you up. So we should be fighting to what? Eradicate poverty, eradicate the guinea worm that has come back under President Nana Addo. These are our socialist aspirations, social democratic aspirations. We should be ensuring that everybody who can go to school goes to school. Improve quality of health, more CHIPS compounds, more University of Ghana medical centers, more rich hospitals, more WA regional hospitals, more Bolga regional hospitals, more Ho airports, more Tamale airports, more WA airports. We want airports, more Terminal 3s. That is the development agenda. And every single one of us has a role to play in it. Saints or sinners, we all have a role to play in it. This NDC is not made of Pope John Paul and Pope Francis and co. We are here to deliver a development agenda. We are not here on a purity contest or a beauty contest. So if somebody comes with their baggage, we tolerate the baggage, but we make sure we deploy their talents, their skills, their abilities to our developmental agenda. Full stop. Because otherwise, tomorrow they will say Koradumba is a womanizer, therefore he's not qualified to be in the NDC. He should not win any contest. Or they say, oh, this man is a drunk, he drinks too much. So therefore, what are somebody's drinking got to do with what? Politics is not about those who are teetotalers. Neither is it about those who are spinsters or bachelors or monogamists. It doesn't matter. You don't come to NDC for us to tell you how many wives to marry, how many bottles to drink or not drink. We come to the NDC because you have talent. And if the people have spotted that talent in that community and they want you there, let none of us who is not in that constituency pass judgment. After all, Jesus said, let those of us without any be the first to cast the stone. Of course, we should aspire to be upright. We should aspire to do right for the people. I'm not preaching corruption. When it comes to the public purse, we must focus on making sure we fight corruption, because corruption is the number one canker that eats away.
You see, for me, I do understand. I appreciate that no one can be as clean as a whistle. No one can claim to be, godlier than God. But still, especially in public, at least here in UK, a man found not to be honest in his even private life, if it comes out, then you are deemed not worthy of, public office. And it has happened many times. I mean, notably recent one was the former health minister here in the UK, So for us to say that, okay, someone may have so many girlfriends, it doesn't matter if he can do a job. For that, I don't think I do agree with you. I'm not saying I can be so clean. If I was, I would have married only one. But the point is, if you cannot be trusted to be loyal to your better half or your other half, your children and the rest, you tell them one thing and you do the other, surely when it comes out into the public domain, then you are in trouble.
Musa, let me give you 2 classic recent examples. How many wives, ex-girlfriends, did Boris Johnson have has had? How many of them was he not cheating on, even when he was in power? What was he doing? And yet he was deemed fit to be the prime minister of this country. Who came out and said, you just divorced your wife, you've done this against the wife, or you just married this your girlfriend, and you have done this. Therefore, what was important was, were you delivering the goods? When you lie in the course of public duty and you are corrupt in the course of public duty, the public expectation should, of course, be paramount. Yes. But there are certain things. There is no evidence that Honorable Muntaka has been privately or publicly corrupt and therefore doesn't deserve that seat. That was not what people were clamoring for. Let us go to Trump. How many wives has Trump had? Did Trump not even ask us to drink DDT to cure COVID? But he was president of the so-called, greatest democracy in the world. What about even Biden? Did Biden not lie about keeping confidential, secret label papers in his house, in his covert there? Did anybody ask him to step down as president? And so what I'm trying to say is, look, when you start going after people's, look, I'm not saying that we should not aspire to have certain morals in our public life. What I am basically saying is there is no shred of evidence that the calls for Muntaka not to be elected were supported by any glaring evidence of public corruption or private moral ineptitude. What you had was, okay, yes, he had differences with the speaker, no problem. But there are two adults that can sort of fix themselves. He and Haruna Idrisu were dismissed. And there was
we can
there.
safely say people suspected, a certain type of double dealings in his parliamentary works, unsubstantiated, but it is still there. The suspicion was there that he was playing double-edged sort of, games.
Of course,
the whole platform had become a horse trading sort of, market. People trading this and out. So
yes,
some of these things, when you are suspected, then some will say you have to go.
But is that not our own thing that says that you are innocent until found declared guilty? Okay. So when the suspicion amount, look, I have my consent. We are all concerned. But is that sufficient for me to say his constituents should throw him out? The party took the action that they needed to take.
Yes.
And I don't suspect that was the reason why the party took the action. General Mosquito was clear. If you're not getting on well with the speaker, then I need to find another team that gets on well with the speaker so that we can prosecute our development agenda of the party. And that was General Mosquito's view. General was not going on about, you have collected money from here or you've done this. General's view was simple. And he was emphatic. You and I were at that press conference.
Well, I have not said or accused him of collecting money here and there.
No, but what I'm saying is that people had that view, but that's not what General said. General's view was clear. If you give me a party and you have the two top people who should be working together and they're not working together, then I have two options. Either I resign or I fix it. I'm not about to resign, so I'm fixing it. And so what do? I remove those one part. If you remove the fuel from any fire, you either take the oxygen or the source of fuel, oxygen or the heat. He removed one of them and the fire quenched down. We are okay. We're cruising on nicely.
Let's move on then.
I don't have any concern with that.
Let's move on from there, and I want us to tackle another constituency where I have very much interest in it because I hail from that constituency. You are listening to Mansa Musa, and the time is 9:02. That is 2 minutes gone past 9 here in the UK. It is 2 minutes gone past 8 in Ghana. Mansa Musa, tonight is a special. Usually I don't come here on Sundays, but it's a Sunday special program due to, this is what we call the morning after. I mean, the day or the night after the very good, impressive primaries that has been conducted by the NDC group. So we are here basically, if you are rejoicing for a friend or a colleague or anything, or if you have anything adverse to say about what has happened, just call me on the studio line and I will let you speak. The voice you are hearing, apart from mine, is that of Mr. Conrad Damba. He lives here in the UK, Milton Keynes to be precise, and he wants to be the next chairman of UK Ireland chapter. Well, you can judge from his vocabs and his outpours that he knows his stuff. He knows what he's talking about, and that for me, that is the whole mark, or the mark of a capable person, a capable mind. Anyway, I want us to discuss this place. Where have you heard the outcome for where Ofosu Kwachi, Felix Ofosu Kwachi competed?
Oh yes.
What happened?
And he won convincingly.
I'm not happy.
He won convincingly.
I'm not happy.
Yeah, you're not happy. Why?
Well, I supported the woman, the lady, the university lecturer. I supported because.
But my brother,
because I invited both of them, and she came to talk to me, and he didn't. So I'm not happy. That's all. That's all my grievance, really.
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, he won.
I see. All right.
So
good
and
luck.
I think that again, it was an emphatic one. He got 830 votes, and unfortunately, Professor Nanama,
Yes,
she's a fellow member of the NDC Professionals Forum, so I respect her very much for that, and I think she did a great job. But she pulled barely 571 votes.
Okay.
So there was very clear daylight between the two. At the end of the day, I think it is the person's work and the constituents.
At the end of the day, I'm of the gender balance thing, and I think the male, what we call testosterone or whatever they call it, is too huge and it's too much and it's too heavy. The noise and this thing. So we need more women. So I really wanted her to win. That was, where I'm coming from seriously. Apart from everything else.
Oh yes, I agree with you, and I've always advocated that. We need that balance. We need more women. So I make no excuses for supporting women. But if the constituency decides that yes, they gave a very decent majority. This was not like a complete washout. 830 to 571. The difference is roughly about 260. It's a convincing win, but it is encouraging for Prof. And there are many roles. Prof has played a great many role in some of the committees at the NDC Professionals Forum level, especially during the last election, 2020 election. She was part of some of the committees that were put in going into the NDC Professionals Forum's Manifesto Committee and a few other committees. Yes. She's very diligent. She's a great asset for the party. When I see great talent like this sparking up against each other, competing against each other to represent the great NDC, then that is the face of the NDC we are talking about. This is truly what you mean by having the men and the women. Not the guru boys that are destroying this economy. Who said that they are the men. That is the kind of, we have, we spoke to her, very capable. Yes. In her private practice, her career, and in her political life, very excellent. And there are many of her kind across the length and breadth of the party that competed. That what it is telling us is that those people who think that the NDC is for we those who they think we are not educated enough or we don't know what we are doing, they should think again. In any case, the record of the NDC shows that we have delivered, even whether it is about titles or not. You look at the record of the Fourth Republic. NDC is the only party that has been able to have the highest growth rate for this country. In 2011, under the chairmanship of President Mahama, when he was vice president and chairman of the Economic Management Team, he delivered over 14% economic growth rate, the highest in the world at the time. He delivered 33 months of single-digit inflation, consecutive single-digit inflation. We have the men who have not even been able to do that for like 11 months in a row. And where are we now? We are at 40-something. We were 58% in January. We're now down to 42%. He delivered sustained economic growth. If you, Musa, take 8 years of NDC under President Mahama, Professor Mills, take 8 years of Nanado, add up all the economic growth they had and average it. It will interest you to know that our average economic growth rate is higher than the NPP. Much, much higher. It's clear, there's clear water between us. So these guys are good at talking, but we truly have the men and the women. And so the Prime Minister yesterday, look at the caliber of people who are contesting. And the NDC is a broad church. We have all kinds of market women, drivers, teachers, lecturers, professors, doctors, accountants. Everybody in this country is entitled to be represented in parliament. That's why we don't go for elitism. We are not going to say, oh, the bourgeoisie sit here and be drinking wine. You, the proletariat, you go out there, we'll give you attire and what do they call it, brukutu and co. No. You go to our parliamentarians, you have people with all kinds of skills, from accomplished caterers, business women, lawyers, doctors, accountants, lecturers. Everyone is fairly represented there because you need a balanced society. If we said that only medical doctors should be making decisions for us in this world, we will be deciding how our health works. When it comes to economics, what will they do? When it comes to cooking the benku and the okra soup, what will they do? That's why we need everybody round the umbrella. The umbrella has enough room for everybody. You don't even need to have talent to be in the NDC. You need to have a belief and a determination that you want to develop Ghana along the ideals of social democracy. That is what we need. What is important is the willing body and not necessary. It's irrelevant if you are capable and not doing it. Of course, you need to be capable to achieve it, but you need to be willing first. So yes, she did a great job. Better luck next time. I think there are many rules in the NDC without being an MP. I mean, there are only 275 maximum, even if we did a clean sweep. But that 275 will not be able to rule Ghana. There will be opportunities for ministers, deputy ministers, directors of various institutions, DCEs, MCEs, coordinating. I mean, there's so much. You don't even need to be a minister to make a significant impact on the development fortunes of our country. And some of the most instrumental people in the forward march of our party, the likes of P.V. Obeng, we heard of them from our childhood. How many ministerial positions was P.V. Obeng occupying? But they were doing the do. They were actually the ones doing the coordination. They were moving the job. That's why he was proverbially called Ghana's prime minister. You know, Okojo Mpieni under Kufuor. Okojo Mpieni was not a minister, but he was doing what needed to be done. He was Kufuor's right-hand man. So let nobody be deceived into thinking, oh, I've just lost the prime minister, therefore that is the end of the world for me. No. The 275 in the chamber in parliament, it is not what Ghana necessarily needs. They are there to do the legislation. If anything, there are many more opportunities for us to put our hands on the wheel and move this chariot called Ghana to the developmental plane that we want it to be on.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So let's take this opportunity. I don't get you quite often, so whilst you are here, I think I have to squeeze as much as I can. I want us to discuss, can you draw a parallel between, or on what did happen with the Kufuor, what's the name? The Dufour saga, and what has happened in UK Ireland chapter?
So, thank you very much. I know that the CIC is working hard to try and make sure that we will to get our elections off the ground. I can see where some of the parallels can be drawn. And what are those parallels here? Dufour goes to court. Why does he go to court? He says that, I wasn't given a voters register. He says that, there's a photo album that is incomplete and not accurate. And that you have some, people in the photo album who are men and their pictures are women. Of course, he goes to court and he realizes that he had goofed. So he had to pull back. Why? Because our guidelines, election guidelines, require the use of a delegates list. That delegates list is not a photo album. That delegates list was given to him right after he was vetted and cleared. So he had no basis whatsoever to claim that he had only been given the register barely 3 days to election, because he had had it for over 6 weeks. He goes on saying that, it is bloated. But he does not explain or give specific evidence of the bloating. And this is where I see some of the parallels between us here, where somebody will just sit in their baby, as we say, and say, that branch is not supposed to have more than 2 people. If there are 2 people in there, it's bloated, remove some. Why don't you say, Mr. Asumesi is in there, but he shouldn't be there? Or Madam Comfort is supposed to be there, but it's not there. Be specific. That is where Dr. Dufour's defense crumbled. And it's not surprising that they pulled back. When they went to court, they had nothing to substantiate. The photo album was not the delegates list. This was something additional that the executives had considered to be able to aid the process. And by the way, branches had been asked to compile that photo album from the records they had, their green books. So you go to your membership, every member will input in the green book. All of us in this chapter, we have the green book. The person, you add their picture on it, you input their details there. So that is what was supposed to happen. He knows very well. There are many regions where the problem was from the branches, where the branches had not been able to fully populate the photo album. And so you don't turn around and say that, because they have not been able to fully populate it, it is incomplete. The register that will be used for the election was the delegates list. He never raised an issue with that delegates list. And Mansa Musa, The criteria for that delegate was as transparent as the clear blue skies. It says that every branch executive is eligible. If you have 40,000 police stations, for us in the NDC, our police stations, our branches are equivalent to police stations.
Sure.
So that means there are supposed to be 9. So if there are 40,000 police stations, multiply that by 40. 9. And then you can say, oh, that means for branches, I expect 40,000 times 9. So if I should be looking at 360,000 or whatever number that might be, and if I've seen less, then I say, oh, the number is a problem. You go to the constituency, you are expected to have 28 executives in each constituency. There are 275 constituencies. You multiply that. Get your team to sit down and use a good old style, pencil, eraser, and calculator. Calculate this and say, this is what we are expecting. Now look in the delegates list. How many are we expecting? Then you can go into the specifics. Oh, this branch has only got 2. And they'll tell you, oh, the other positions, there was no compete. So if you say it's bloated, I mean, let's be honest, even in the UK here, there was only one branch that ended up having all the slots filled. Most of the other branches had 1 or 2 positions that were to be co-opted later. So if you come to me and tell me that there are 10 branches, I'm expecting 90, 10 times 9, but you only have 80, then I'll tell you, oh, that branch there, they've not co-opted their communication officer. That one, they have not co-opted it. That is the intelligent way of querying the register. But you just sit down and say it is bloated. How is it bloated? You don't know. You go to court, then you withdraw. Because he knew he had no basis. Of course, the party worked to try and bring him back. I was saddened that after withdrawing, we thought it had all calmed down. Then in the evening, you go and do press conference and say the election is going to be fraught with irregularity. How did you know that it will be when it has not yet happened? How did you declare the election as irregular 24 hours straight, and you had no share of evidence that the register was contaminated? I'm not saying that what he's saying is not true. All I'm saying is we need to be evidence-based. And therein lies the paradox with us in the UK here. People will say, that branch, they are not supposed to have more than 30 people. So if they have more than that, you have to look into it again. And then they will be sending voice notes to people in Accra, sending voice notes to people in ECCIC saying that, look into that branch again. Oh, that person is a ghost. The people, they are not there. Someone even say, no, they have to call a meeting and then we see all of them, as if you are the senior prefect for the chapter. See, these are the kind of unintelligent allegations that draw parallels with Dr. D. As I was telling you earlier, some of the people that were picked out as ghost names in the Kings are 2 of the people who went and contested. The one was Suki, who did not win, and Kukwa, who won. Now you tell those people who were making noise and say that there are ghost names there, and they strategically clear and said this one is ghost. Some people even wrote petitions using her as an example to various bodies in the chapter. How come that ghost name is the one that has now won a parliamentary primary? Why don't they go to Accra and go and tell Accra that you have a ghost name as a parliamentary candidate? So this is ample evidence that kind of defoic-based allegation of that number is not supposed to be correct. Be specific. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, North London number is too much, South London is too much, Scotland is too much, Ireland is too much. Give me the register, let me look. If I find something, I raise it.
Sure.
And by God, our committee should be following it. They say, oh, the people have not paid money. Then you go and check. So, okay, the money is there. Oh, but those are ghost names. It's just names they've written and paid the money. Then you go and check and you see the person there. So now they should organize National Assembly of that branch so that I'll come and do like Inspector General. Since when did we have, what do you call it, Dampares here that will now be going around branches inspecting? These are, in my view, respectfully, illiterate allegations that should not be countenanced. Make intelligent allegations. And by God, you see, the longer this election takes, the more people who are making baseless allegations are being exposed. They say when the frog dies, you know it's true love. The people who wrote petitions against the candidates that have now won their parliamentary primaries and actually joined a free of writing over 17 petitions against those candidates. Let us see how they will now square this circle that they have been running around. When you are a leader and not a base member and you engage in such base, if you like, illiterate allegations around, you do not help the party. You don't help yourself. And Dr. Dufour is an accomplished person. The list of the candidates are expected to do that was Dr. Dufour. I hope that someday he will sit, reflect, and apologize for that. But any such parallel should not be tolerated in the UK. If you have the evidence, put the evidence forward. Seek the explanation. There is always a reason. And that's why I was saying, you don't just say that. It's just say, oh, there are 90 people, they should be 87. Why are they 90? The person will give you the explanation. If you approach things with a closed mindset, like Dr. Omanebuama will say, tunnel vision, that is what you get. When you say Mansa Musa cannot be more than 6 foot, therefore, if you find any man who calls himself Mansa Musa and he's 6'4", he's a fraud.
Right, that is a very serious analogy, really. Mansa Musa, I don't know if I can grow a bit taller, I'll be happy. But well, I don't know if I'll be happy. I shouldn't say that. But listen, let's. So, what is going to happen now? I mean, now that the what we call primaries in Ghana is done, Mahama is your flag bearer. And if he was coming to, going to UK or coming to the UK, it was just that he's coming to, how do I say it, for your support. Now, anyone who comes here from Accra is rather, it's like they've got a job to do. They've got work to do. They have some duties to perform. This really isn't clever, is it?
The irony of it is that, okay, we still have chapter executives. Their duty is to host executives from Accra. As you testify on 28th January when President Mahama was here with Jana Mosquito, they did their job faultlessly and effortlessly, which we congratulate them for. It's just that it's sad that if any of them came here, we would be in that unenviable position where they have all been able to get their elections done, and we are still marking time. And that is why I know you may have been at the hall when President Mahama took, if you like, made a crusty joke about us. That, when people came to vote in the national, the delegates conference, and the next day the diaspora people came to visit him. And he saw, Belgium and Co are there. Netherlands and Co are all there. But where's UK? Which is the primus inter pares of the diaspora, sadly, wasn't represented. I thought that would jolt us into donning our, if you like, thinking caps a little bit more tightly. But Jana Mosquito also added the fact that they couldn't thank us in the UK for the victory that they had chalked, simply because we were not there to vote for them, and made it emphatically clear that, look, if we don't get our act together and get our elections done so that we could come to Ghana and vote in this presidential and parliamentary primaries, then when the government of the next NDC government that will be sworn in on the 7th of January 2025, we should forget about any appointment. And I think that is quite good, that we should be sat in the naughty corner. Whenever, given with mistake, they should live up to that mantra. They should uphold that. I am not begging my neighbor, and I think that it is time for us as NDC UK Ireland to look within and solve our problems before we start thinking of using ourselves as a vehicle to propel any of us to go to Ghana for any positions. People should be elected to stay here and do the job of elevating the party. Sadly, some of us have been contesting this because we think that is the only way we can go and get an appointment. It must be made clear that executiveship in the UK, it's not the means to appointment in Ghana. If you want an appointment in Ghana, go and work directly. If you want to be elected here, you are to sit here and to work. And it's not for nothing that 9 years ago, to be approximate, we set up a rule that meant that if any executive vacated their position and went to Ghana for more than 3 months and the position was vacant, they will be deemed to have automatically been forfeited. It's a shame that was put in our standing orders, which are currently suspended, I am told, and therefore doesn't work. But that's one of the reasons I said when the good people of this chapter bless me with the opportunity to serve, that rule will be back. If I decide to go to Ghana and go and take a position in Ghana, I should have the gratitude and the respect to tell my people that as they go now, somebody take over. You can't be straddling 2 continents. This chapter must be taken seriously. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't aspire. Let us by all means aspire. But tough times call for tough measures. We have got ourselves into a position where people are making this election like do or die. It's like Holy Communion. If they don't eat it, they won't survive. It can only be surmised that Perhaps some of us are thinking that this is the only way to catch the eye of Accra. Accra should make it clear, you are catching nobody's eye. You are going to fix this bad reputation we have got here. We can't simply get an election done and we're all gerrymandering.
If I cry, I want to say I cry. If I cry, should say that you guys should fix it. What exactly do you guys have to do? Because it looks as if some people are sticking to their guns, very adamant that they don't seem to trust or believe in the structures that what we call managing or directing affairs here. So exactly how you guys can solve your problem, I don't see it. How?
I think when I say solve our problems, it means that, look, there is no way that the next chapter executive elections coming in 4 years should even miss by 1 day. We should no longer tolerate that. It's been happening so long that we now think it's okay, we can miss it as long as we just keep throwing all kinds of stuff in there. The next executives, which I pray to God, I believe, must enshrine in stone, carve it in stone, set the date clearly, and it must happen. And we must put an automatic clause in there that says that if that election fails on that day, that entire executive is deemed swept out. Nobody should be able to overstay in office. That would be an incentive for us to be able to make sure it happens. Now, you talk about, people have issues. Sadly, some of the people who have issues with the structure are the people who put the same structure in place. I was a lowly branch chairman. I'm now a floor member, and I like being a floor member. It was the 6 chapter executive. They were the ones who voted among themselves to select the electoral committee, the vetting committee, and the appeals committee. And so when sometimes I see unfortunate positions taken by members of these same chapter executives, claiming that this person in this chapter, in this particular committee is not fit to be there and should never be allowed to fit into any position. This one is not right, you should do that. Me, Conrad Dumba, I didn't select those people. I was not qualified to select them. Myself and my brother, Chairman Akwa, we were not chapter executives. We were not. Fortunately for our other brothers, Dr. Jaman and Alhaji Mbalba, they were chapter executives. They were part of the committee that put these same committees in place. So if myself and or Chairman Akwa, we were probably the ones who are excused to complain about these people. They have no excuse, because the moment they start complaining about these committees, the question is, so did you deliberately put bad committees on us to fail, and now you want us to put you back? How do you set up a committee and then turn around and come and tell us that you don't trust the committee that you set up, that committee is made of people who are unfit? So did you deliberately do bad to this chapter by putting a committee that was so-called unfit? And they suddenly become unfit when they don't do what you expect them to do. And not that you have concrete, tangible evidence to hook them on. You write all kinds of petitions to Accra, to everywhere and anyone who will listen. You want to drown the whole system in petitions. You even have executives who use information obtained in the course of their official duty to attempt to hook it or write petitions against others. That is so bad. We shouldn't get to that. We live in this country. We respect what GDP has. We live in this country. We know what good practice is. All of us, we work in places that we can't do that. Why do you think it is free for all? Yada, yada. That we just play kukufu football. Why will we be doing that? And so when I say fix it, that attitude must stop and have to start with leadership. I will not be the kind of chairman who will turn up and say, dig into the records of my opponent, let us use that particular. If you give me a record in my capacity as chairman, I'm not going to be using that record to turn around and say, they have just sent me this letter about this person. I'm giving to you as evidence that they are this. When you are doing that, what are you thinking? So tomorrow when you call branches and say, send us records for this, who's going to send it to you? Because you are known to be selfish in deploying people's personal records for your own advantage, even using them to support petitions in Ghana without it. So the point I'm trying to make is leaders must lead. Leadership is not management. And look, it is not by force that any of us must lead this party. If you are not happy, look, let me tell you something. I was secretary to the electoral committee for years. Some of these people, they made more noise. Some of the people who are chapter executive today and are still crooning around about what is here, they made more noise. They even encouraged people to go to court. The Friday before the Saturday, they sponsored people to go to court to stop the election. You ask them, when the election results were declared, Did they reject it because the case should have gone to court? They quietly accepted it, co-opted themselves in, sat on it for 4 years. Today they are making all the noises that you can issue with anybody. But when you want to lead, it is not by force that people must lead. You start all these Kwekwanansi stories. Follow the evidence. You go and say, oh, that branch, they collected people's money and kept it for 6 months before putting it. You go and check it, it's not there. They say, oh, look into the people. They don't have this. Then you go and check. Oh, look into this. Why are specific branches being targeted? And let me tell you this for free. Many chapter executives, when I was chairman of Notre Kings, many of these chapter executives never turned up in a single meeting in Notre Kings. Some of them, it is only, some of my co-contestants, it is only when our late chairman Peter died that they turned up. 1 for the funeral and 2 for the final funeral rites in 2022. That's 2021, 2022. Some of the top leaders in the ask them, do they even know the number of people who are registered, except for this election? Did they know? Did they ever turn up for any meeting? Some of them made excuses and said that we haven't been writing letters to invite them to a meeting, so they won't come. You expect me every month to write to you to say, dear sir, my branch is about to meet. When you know we meet second Saturday of every month, I crave your indulgence to turn up and watch us. I'm running a branch. I'm not running a secretariat company. So when you are a leader, you don't visit your branches. You have no touch with your branches. You have no idea what is happening there. Then when it's time to say, no, I didn't expect them to have this meaning. There must be ghost names there. And then you start beating about the bush. But at the end of the day, we must all learn from before saga. And look, everybody's entitled to go to court. Everybody's entitled to challenge. But by God, challenge intelligently, please. Say Conrad Dumba there is not supposed to be in that branch. Take his name out. Then let Conrad come and explain. Let the committees listen. And of course, everybody has an opinion. An opinion is like a nose. Everybody's entitled to one. So your opinion doesn't become fact. Sometimes what looks like it cannot make sense, actually has sense. That's why as Christians, how do you explain Trinity, my brother? I presume you may be Christian. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are one.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense. But to those who believe it, it makes sense. There are things we do. And you see, the standards are there. If it doesn't make sense to you, go and ask. You were not there. And when they explain, there is something you call a professional skepticism, not being a perpetual Thomasiwa or Thomas. And no branch deserves to be taken through somebody's perpetual doubts. Oh, that branch is not going to vote for me, therefore I don't believe in them. So those people do something to them. Oh, this one. And these are the same people. You go and ask them. I have seen some evidence floating around. Some of the people making some of these biggest ones are people who are pumping money into various branches from far back as October 2022. They think people don't know. They'll come and sit in your studio and say, oh, as long as somebody has paid for them, that is fine. But when you have one person and you are a chapter executive and you go around paying for 20 people, 30 people, Mansa Musa, when you have over 8,000 pounds pumped into a chapter account in the space of 2 days to the deadline of it.
Hold on your fire a little bit for me. Your comrade, Osu Achan, is on the other line. Osu Achan. Oh, sorry, let me. Yeah, Osu Achan. Can you hear me? Hang on, let me open your phone, I think. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you.
Ozu? Ozu Achan? Hello? Hello? It's supposed to be on. Why is it not shouting the line? Yeah. Hello, Sacha. Hello. Hello. Okay. Chairman, let's carry on. Usu's line is gone dormant. I don't know why, but Please, Conrad, let's go ahead.
Yeah. So the point I was making is, look, committees are entitled to do their work. Nobody should doubt any committee until you have solid and valid cause to do so. Branches have done what they can. Let us remember that branches do not operate for elections. They operate to keep the branches alive. How many branches have survived? You know, most branches, most people don't pay their dues. It is a surprise. Most of us, we wait till it's election time, even as leaders.
Ozu, are you here?
Yes, Mansa, I can hear you.
You can hear me, but we can hardly hear you as well.
Okay.
Why this thing is so low, I don't know. But good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mansa.
Ozacha.
Mansa, good evening.
Okay, hang on a second. I've got a new system here, and already doing my head in.
And I'm afraid. This is straight.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Good.
Akwaba.
Mansa, and good evening to your listeners, and good evening to the incoming chapter chairman, Conrad Dumba. And Mansa, and what I got to about, but to send attention in the NDC UK and Ireland chapter. Yes, so because yes, we have time now to say to you about. But Mansa, I can say the chapter no after the election chapter we ever found into my pay. The chapter and we am sorry. Until we are calling for everybody, we are not fighting you. You can't talk any BBA, but ye be a reform or chapter way. Na be crabbe because so the aspirant branches na the NDC UK and the eye of NDC in Ghana. But we are not happy as you see the Mansa the chapter at maybe can say this chapter is in a sinking ship. We have to rescue this chapter. And this is the right time. So you never can say we are rescuing this chapter. Once not Shamakonon air about committees set here and then uncle petitions. Once say maybe so many be. I'm a chapter executive member. Yeah, to aba and I say consensus. Near ye executive no. Obi better of videos Kasaka ribbon petition want to be. They did not participate in America, also America. Yes, and look at what happened. And then someone were in it, Namu Central, Kuku as well in it. What is here? And some are been in Mansa. It's not about Sibia, ye town, we are not Sibia. We are building this chapter. I have a chapter into my pefra. And baby, a chapter, they command some say, ye Kohayo.
I see.
Pass no a two. The chapter, a two,
Kohayo.
Yeah, but what I mean is
what
I mean is sinking ship pija because I sink it but ye rescue chapter no near my chapter na beye elimunyam my chapter no is near my koswa sebi obiti the NDC UK and Ireland chapters more but there be antokwa e be we are taking over. And this chapter will grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Mana abaya kono. Young build this will be a personality. There be media me say, and time me say, I want Conrad Dumba to lead this chapter because I believe in him. I know what he can do with the team of Ibebuano. And you don't want capability, and you don't want him there, but you better other members, branches, executives, you never buama team bueno. You team about my chapter where I'm often to my pa efra. But the Banama Musa a reform. The best reform chapter. You also can Sunday order. You didn't never be ye. Obin Casimir with power. So be a chairman or chapter, no be a communications, or be a woman organizer. We are all equal. Obin chair will be a meeting. We are doing the remember the person say branches will get involved. The mechanism me this year and me boss some Oregon maybe school abaso and then they are now candidate for the on their own constituencies. Chapter NDC you can like chapter. Conrad, thank you so much. Bye.
Jama Conrad.
Yes, my boss.
Did you hear what Osachan said?
Oh yes, I heard what he
because
said.
you kept quiet when he said thank you very much, Baba. I was expecting a return or a response, but nothing. So I thought you didn't hear.
I heard it loud and clear. I was dazed and mesmerized by the strength, the passion of his delivery.
Right.
So
that's
my
fine.
apologies if my response was not swift
that's
enough.
okay. That's okay, because that's all what is necessary, knowing that you heard it and that's it. Anyway, for what is worth, we have discussed a lot. We have covered almost everything, including what is happening here and what is going to happen. Let's do the national one a bit, if we may. And this Galamsey issue. The other time I brought in Professor Frimpong Boatin. Tomorrow, hopefully, there is a gentleman who has spoken about, he's a pathologist, a doctor who has done his own research. Not research, now he says it's a case study, and he has found out that certain areas where Galamsey is at the optimum, I mean, people are doing Galamsey everywhere, but where, the concentration is so high, it is now really evidenced that it is affecting the living and the unborn. So almost our past is destroyed in terms of what we had. Our present, the women, some of them give birth and die themselves. So it's also the present is being destroyed. Then the future, some of it being destroyed. According to this gentleman, he spoke on Randy Abe's show that people are being born with, stillbirth. When they operate a dead pregnant woman and remove the fetuses or the full-bodied human baby, sometimes you see that it is deformed. One hand is, is in the proper socket. The other hand may be behind his buttocks. Some with one eye, and this and that is so horrible description of what these pathologists have seen. And hopefully in fact, I should have spoken to him yesterday. We, for some reason, we couldn't do that. But tomorrow, hopefully, tomorrow night, we can, if I'm lucky, we can even do Zoom with him to explain. But the reason why I've, highlighted or I've explained all this is that this Galamsey issue, for me, I know it is almost impossible, especially when you want to campaign to win, to tell the truth. But I think whoever gets power should at least a 5-year moratorium on surface mining and alluvial mining. I think that is my suggestion. What do you think?
I think that is it's a laudable idea if the moratorium is to stop, pause, think, and go again. I think that what we should also be asking ourselves is,
but you know that this won't win you power. If you can't campaign with it, you can't campaign on it. That, if I win, I'm going to stop people from doing surface mining or alluvial mining. So that is where the catch is.
Mansa Musa, it's one thing to ban Galamsey, and it's a different thing from stopping surface mining. Surface mining has been happening in Ghana for a long time in a controlled manner. Some of the big companies we have, they engage in basically that. But you see, the difference within those big companies and what we call Galamsey is that they are licensed. There's a protocol for land reclamation. So whenever they go, they can't discharge their mercury and other chemicals used to get their gold into our rivers. No, it is controlled. They have to use the right equipment. They have the right place to go and wash their whatever to get their minerals. And they have a decent way of containing the toxins that are left so that it doesn't seep into our water bodies. And better still, when they are done with the mining in that area, the reclamation happens. This is what President Mahama sought to decentralize by proposing that, look, you want to do that kind of mining, no problem. But we will license you and we will get you to, before you give you the license, you get a bond, almost like an insurance guarantee. That says that I have been given 2 square miles to mine. I've got an insurance guarantee or a bond from my insurance company that says that when I am done with it and I'm exhausted, this is the amount of money that I have put aside that will be used to reclaim the land, reforest it, get it back into a decent manner so that it doesn't become a nightmare. That is how you control mining. And that was clearly captured in President Mohammed's manifesto, the NDC's manifesto for 2020. So we are not saying, look, mining, Galamsey, is not equal to mining. The legal mining, safe, controlled, is always okay and has always been okay. And we're not the only country where that happens. Galamsey is if you like, where people just go, dig up a pit, wash it into the rivers with all the chemicals, and then River Brim and Co now become like chocolate drink, and they just get their gold and they are gone. That is what we mean by Galamsey. Illegal mining, or even where it's illegal, uncontrolled, without thinking about the impact on the environment. We can stop that illegal mining. We can stop. You want to mine, no problem. Follow the right process. Why do people go and get concessions, give it to Chinese or other people? I'm not demonizing Chinese. It is Ghanaians who are leading all those Chinese mining concessions. They go and get it, give it to them. They just go fell trees, dig up pits, even where some of them have only got a prospecting license, not a mining license. My brother, when you are given a prospecting license, you are not allowed to mine. Your job is to go and check, take samples, go through and see if indeed there are minerals underneath there that you want to mine. If you can then prove that the minerals are there, you will then be given what? A mining license, proper one. Some of them just go and get a prospecting license. The next thing you know, they have felled all the trees in that forest and cliff. This government has been guilty in the sense that in the name of Party Nyasika, they have released forest reserves for their people to mine by heart and make money at the expense of the government. And this is what we are finding. Water bodies all the way, right from the Ashanti, all the gold mining areas, River Pra, River Birim, and Cobra, all of them. And these are the same water. There's the same water from these rivers that go into the Ghana Water and Sewage companies, machines to be processed for us to drink. So why won't all these diseases be coming up? Why would you have all these deformities coming up? And this is a call to us. If you are living in a city and you think this won't get to you, it will get to you one way or the other. You'll get to a point people are now buying pure water to drink. If we don't stop this menace, we will get to a point where in our own country we can't drink water. And when these water bodies are polluted, they are not going to be clean overnight, my brother. It will take years because some of these chemicals seep into the soil. And so when your water is now being filtered through the soil, you will pick it up. So yes, if measures have to be taken immediately, ban Galamsey and look, the ban is there, is the enforcement. You send military there, and the military are the ones that are rather somehow corrupted to be protecting the Galamsey people against the people who should be stopping Galamsey. It is political will. That is the problem. With the right political will, my brother, 1 week, and this will stop. People who fought Galamsey, Major Mohammed and Co., ended up losing their lives. And what has happened to them? That case has been dragging through the courts like a snail. We don't take anything serious. And it's good that he is highlighting it. In fact, the Ghana Medical Association should be highlighting this as a health concern.
All the
professionals should be.
Just you saying that, look, this man has already complained that it needs a proper funds thrown at a serious research. What he has done is case study, but if proper research is needed, that requires money, and no one is listening to him. I mean, you know what it is. No one is listening. It's sad. It's sad, but there we go. Listen, Conrad.
This is the problem. The people living in the Galamsey areas, why can't they rise up?
Well, you see,
the people living in Accra, why can't we demonstrate?
Well, now I think people are really fed up. I can say people are really tired. I mean, people are overwhelmed. They are overwhelmed. But having said that, if you remember recently, Alan Tremantin organized his NPP people in Accra, and he had so many thousands of them, 100 or 200,000, I don't know. You see, so for a politician to shout and they want to follow, you get plenty of people. But when, the country is actually sick in a way, because there's nowhere that, pensioners and these elderly people will be made to be picketing or demonstrating while able-bodied youth are sitting quietly. Jesus Christ. I don't know. But listen, run up with your message, what you want to tell. Well, let me ask if it could be possible that your own profession, what you know best, what you do best, if you can find, once a week to come and, at least in a form advisory sort of platform or, structure to come and tell us, everybody, how, to make money, how to keep it, and how not to fall into all sort of problems, since it is your area of expertise. If you can, at least an hour once a week or something, by phone, anything, that would be brilliant. I'm just asking.
Musa, I'm always happy to contribute to any conversations on betterment and welfare. But I will certainly not claim to be a snake charmer or a money doubler. But I'm happy to have conversations with you in the background on specifically the scope of what is intended, what the input required is, and how I can support. Of course, the little we can do to help ourselves is the knowledge we can share among ourselves.
Sure.
If we can get somebody who can show us how to make money, me, myself, I will join and make the money. Who doesn't want kudi?
You see, talking about snake charmer, I recently read somewhere that someone has returned a snake given to him by by a Sakawa somebody, and the snake refused to vomit money. So he has returned the snake, and he wants his money back. Your country, Ghana, is a very entertaining place, really. It's a funny place. Listen, Conrad, thank you very much for your time. And hopefully this won't be the last time. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you very
evening.
much. Yeah. And my last words to my comrades, let us have the trust in the committee doing their work. Of course, let's raise concerns, but let us have tangible, reasonable concerns to make sure that the right thing is done. I'm sure somehow, somewhere, we'll be able to get this done at some point. So I wish everybody a good evening. We thank everybody for their patience in this long-running Mexican soap opera called our elections. May the good Lord be with us all. And everyone have a good week.
Thank you very much, and you have a good night.
Thank you.
Right, it's about 8 minutes to the time. Today was a special Sunday edition. Fire will burn you. Sunday special. right, Fire Will Burn You. That is the title of the show. It is now nearly 9:10 p.m. here in the UK. It's nearly 10 p.m. and that means it's time for us to say Chario goodbye and everything. Well, if you want to squeeze in a telephone call quickly, I will take you on. Otherwise, I thank you all very much. Let's meet again tomorrow. Usually I don't do Sundays, but today was a special day after what happened the day before. So it was very special. We needed to discuss, have a little bit of time and discuss what has happened. In a nutshell, Mahama has won he has blown everything, 99%, and that's it. No challenger at all. So now Mahama is the Onone flag bearer, NDC4 flag bearer. He said, MP before, almost say January, it's November, now October, anyway, thereabout. Say Baumio, say Alanche Mantion, whoever. I can't see no bear the doko. Na eduwa yina ne behwedia ebeye. I will tell you that Ghana needs a change, a proper change, a change from what is going on, and the change that will bring accountability, probity, and accountability, proper probity. That is, this day and age, it is becoming somehow, let me say, disgrace. A bit of, uncool. Something not really nice to say that I'm a keda or I want probity and accountability, transparency. You see, the ideals of the revolution, the ideals the sentiment, the necessities. I mean, whatever that was happening, that necessitated the June 4th and 31st night. You see, those things, they are very important today as they were in those days. Today, look, we had Rawlings who had governed the country for 19 years. And this guy didn't have enough money stuck somewhere in Europe or America, so that when he was sick, he could have airlifted himself to US or to any proper country for medical, to seek medical help. He didn't have that sort of money. He had ruled an African country for 19 years. Then we have Johnny Just Jams. I mean, people who have just entered into politics, and after 6 years, people have mansions. People who are actually they are not doing business. They haven't won the lottery. They haven't gone for mortgage or a bank loan, but they have mansions. And nobody asks anybody any question anymore in that country. People who have just been in politics for 6 years, they have more money than Jerry Rawlings who ran the country for 19 years. Enti atemudidie jenjan atemudidie kan na modididi no egu na enimu ase no ene muaba ene sika no mudi ni nyafu. So what it is that we pray there should be proper change so that the ebe conduct house to house clean up. And the so obi kan also be very, very afraid. I'm telling you for free. Be very afraid. Mamu Yinajo, have a good night.
Edu Chom, the DJ.
What? 1, 2, 3, baby, only you. One crown, nobody else. All day. Slow down, slow down, yeah. She said, make me slow down, slow down, slow down, yeah. She just wanted, tell me what you want, mini cry what you want. You know what you want. Just make me slow down. Tell me what you want. Me need cry what you want. Me need know what you want. What be your mind? What we define? What we dey wait for? Tell me what's the hold up? Hold up. What be your mind? You? What we define? Mini country, no. What's your mind, baby girl? What's up?